What is up, everyone? This is Jesse here again with, yes, another wrestling video. I was convinced by a friend of mine from YouTube to do more reviews because apparently I'm good at doing them. And my very first review, which was for WrestleMania 32, is over 500 views now, and I'm pretty happy. I'm not going to get cocky because it was WrestleMania, but anyway, let's get on with the review of Monday Night Raw. First off, it started off with Vince McMahon coming out saying that Shane McMahon couldn't get the job done, there's no chance in hell for him, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other thing. So Shane comes out basically to shake Vince's hand and say, you won the battle, sort of, kinda. And then he basically said thank you to the fans and goodbye. And as he was leaving, Vince is like, you're not gonna stand me up. This is my show. You're not gonna stand me up. I'm Vince McMahon. So, he's like, you wanna run Raw? Well, give it a shot. So he basically gave Shane McMahon like temporary control of Raw. Storyline wise, of course. So don't get too excited that Shane McMahon is running Raw now, when generally in reality he's only running Raw in front of the camera. So nothing will change yet. So don't get excited. Anyway, after that, the New Day comes out. Basically, they're talking about what happened at WrestleMania with them, how they were dancing with Shawn Michaels, and how Xavier Woods got Stone Cold Stunnered by Stone Cold Steve Austin. They brought the last piece of cereal from the Booty-O's cereal box, whatnot, whatever. So, it was just a goofy, usual New Day segment. Always funny, always clever, awesome. And then they faced Wade Barrett and Sheamus, and they defended their World Tag Team titles. This is a really good match. Big E with those belly-to-belly suplexes, man. They're something else. I feel like he's getting a little bit better in the ring. Kofi Kingston doing some dives. Every time Kofi Kingston dove off the, out of the ring or into the ring, Xavier Woods would play the trumpet, or what have you. But they ended up winning. They retained. Afterwards, Sheamus basically is like, oh, this is a weak link in the League of Nations, this, that, and the other thing. And he essentially bro-kicked Wade Barrett, King Barrett, Bad News Barrett, whatever you want to call him. Bad News Barrett. So he was the weak link of the group there, and suddenly the lights went off. The Wyatts came down, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, and Eric Rowan, and attacked the remaining 3 members of League of Nations. Wyatt gave Sister Abigail to Sheamus, and that was the end of that. Next up, we have Summer Rae coming down the ring, basically talking crap about her teammates from WrestleMania pre-show, which was Team Bad. And then she basically started talking crap about Sasha Banks, who comes out to the ring and basically says, listen, I may have lost at WrestleMania, but I'm still Sasha Banks. Slaps her in the face. The match starts. A little bit of back and forth. Sasha Banks was pretty dominant the match, and she ended up, it was quick. She picked up the win with the Banks statement, and yeah, that was Sasha Banks defeats Summer Rae. This next match, man, Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. Apollo Crews is a phenomenal wrestler. If this guy isn't a champion of some sort by the end of the year, then WWE doesn't have a single clue what this guy is a monster. He can lift people with gorilla presses and then easily do a backflip splash right after. Like, the guy is half a heavyweight, half a cruiserweight. He's like the perfect middle of everything. This, if he can stay healthy and not get hurt, Apollo Crews is going far. He's going to be a multiple-time world champion. I just have a feeling. He beat Tyler Breeze in his Raw debut, and it was just a great performance by him, man. Oh, I can't stress enough how awesome Apollo Crews is. So moving on, we have Roman Reigns comes out basically to try to get over with the fans, but nobody likes him. Booing instantly. He essentially says that he's not a bad guy, he's not a good guy, but he is the guy. And he's essentially saying, the offer's on the table for anyone to come out and try to come after the title. Chris Jericho comes out. Chris Jericho had his time. This is the one guy I don't agree with. Chris Jericho doesn't have his time. He had his time in the day. He's had multiple world champions. He was the first undisputed champion. I don't see why he was even part of this segment. But anyway, he comes out, confronts Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah. Then he starts talking about AJ Styles, talking crap about him. And then AJ Styles comes out, basically just stares at Chris Jericho. Then Kevin Owens comes out, right? Or was it Sami Zayn? One of the two came. Well, they all came out eventually. It doesn't matter what order. But Sami Zayn ends up attacking Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles ends up attacking Jericho. Kevin Owens gets thrown off the ring, and then Sami Zayn does this incredible flip over the third rope and hit Kevin Owens. And from what I heard later on, he was injured by doing so. So once again, Sami Zayn is on the shelf. So anyway, it was to set up Shane McMahon set up a fatal four-way match between AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and the winner would be number one contender for Roman Reigns' World Heavyweight title at the next pay-per-view, which I believe is, I want to say, Payback. I might be wrong. Sorry if I am wrong. So that's the main event. We'll get to that later. Next, we have Baron Corbin comes out in front of the Andre the Giant trophy that he won at WrestleMania, saying that he came here. He doesn't care if anybody knows who he is. He's here to decimate people. He's here to end the world, or whatever he said. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out and basically responds, and then they have a match. Baron Corbin, it was back and forth between the two of them, and Baron Corbin essentially dominated a lot of the match, and it ended up where Baron Corbin gave Dolph Ziggler a big boot over the barricade, and they both went over the barricade, and Baron Corbin continued to attack Dolph Ziggler, and then they were double counted out, which Baron Corbin was not happy about. So he gave him his finisher, End of Days, I think it's called, outside the ring, and he said he essentially blamed the ref for him decimating Dolph Ziggler. And I gotta say, Baron Corbin he's another guy, man, I would watch out for. He's gonna be a great main eventer. He's like, if I was a wrestler, I would be Baron Corbin. Like, that guy was excellent. Awesome. Freaking awesome. Alright, next we have Zack Ryder comes out with his newly won Intercontinental title, and he's basically in there. He shows us a picture of him as a kid with Razor Ramon, and he's holding Razor Ramon's Intercontinental title. And then he shows a picture of him with Razor Ramon now, and Razor Ramon is holding Zack Ryder's Intercontinental title. This is like a little sentimental value thing. And then he thanks his dad, who stands up, and they clap for him and whatever. And so The Miz comes in, interrupts, and basically tries to ruin his moment, and then challenges him to a title match right there. So Zack Ryder accepts. They have the match, back and forth all match. Zack Ryder seems a lot more impressive than I remember him. So good on him. So eventually they end up outside, and The Miz throws Zack Ryder on the barricade, like a snake eyes onto the barricade, and then Zack Ryder's dad confronts The Miz. Man, that guy's a little. He looks like he lifts weights so much, man. He's like one of those old beach bum guys that are like into tanning and lifting weights. But he said he was gonna slap The Miz in the face, and he ends up shoving The Miz. Like, guy's a beast. So they end up back in the ring, and out of the audience comes Maryse, which was a former diva of WWE, and it's actually The Miz's actual wife. So she comes out, gets in his face, and the distraction caused Zack Ryder to get skull crushing finale. The Miz used the skull crushing finale on him while he was distracted, and pinned him for the 1 through 3. And Miz wins his 5th Intercontinental title, which is weird because, you know, the fans really wanted Zack Ryder to have the Intercontinental title, which was very unexpected, to win the night before at WrestleMania. Just to take it away from him the next night, I mean, it's kind of stupid. If you watch the YouTube channel, they have the exclusive things, and basically Scott Hall goes up to The Miz and tells him, listen, do me a favor and give Zack Ryder a rematch. So maybe we'll see another Intercontinental title match between the two, and maybe Zack Ryder will win, and hopefully he'll get the little push he needs or whatever. But, you know, I don't think The Miz needs anything. I mean, he's had his time in the sun. He's been pretty much a jobber the whole couple years. He's so irrelevant now. I mean, so hasn't Zack Ryder, but, I mean, he never really got the push he deserved. Like, The Miz had a couple world titles already. I mean, Zack Ryder had the tag titles a long time ago when he had long hair, and he was like with Edge's little Edge group there. I forget what it was called. And then he had the United States title for a brief time, but it was nothing significant, you know. So finally, you think that the Zack Ryder is getting a significant title run, and the next night it's like, switch, give it to The Miz now because Maryse is here. It's like, oh man. Next thing that happened, Charlotte came out and was presented with the WWE Women's Championship, even though she already held it in her hand at WrestleMania. So I mean, this whole presentation was totally pointless. All she did was talk about herself and she thanked her dad for her success, which I mean kind of is, but I mean those other women in the ring had a part in her success. So they end up leaving. All the divas leave because they're all mad at Charlotte because she's flapping her gums about herself, except for Natalya Neidhart. So she grabs a mic and essentially she challenges Charlotte, and then the whole family thing comes in play. The Flairs and the Hart thing comes in play, and Neidhart tries to put a sharpshooter on Charlotte, but Ric Flair pulls Charlotte out, etc., etc. So now we're going to have Charlotte against Natalya, Neidhart. Like, this is so weird. It's like, we'll take Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and make them feud with Charlotte for a while, and then totally wash them out of the equation and put a random, irrelevant diva that hasn't been relevant in forever back in the picture for this new women's title. So we'll see where this goes, and you never know. You never know. So the Dudley Boys versus the Usos in a tables match was next. Back and forth happened. Of course, it's always back and forth. This wouldn't be a match without back and forth. So basically, towards the end, the Usos had the Dudleys on the table side by side, like it happened on the pre-show for WrestleMania. They went to do splashes, and they both moved off the tables, and the Usos went through, causing them to lose, because if you get thrown through a table, no, by any means, that's how you win the match. So the Usos went through the tables. However, Bubba Ray was not satisfied that the bell was rung because of that, because he felt that they didn't win. So he took one of the Usos and threw him through a table that was leaning in the corner, and he ended up yelling at the bell guy, kind of random. And then, as they were leaving, the Enzo Amore and Big Cass comes out and does their little spiel in the ring. I like these guys. Don't get me wrong, but they did their spiel in the ring, and then they called the Dudleys. So the Dudleys come down, and they're like, yeah, forget it, blah, blah, blah. It's like one of those heel things where, you think we're going to see Enzo and Cass fight the Dudleys right now, and it's like, nope, next time. So we'll probably see some more of that little feud. I think the Usos versus the Dudleys is over, I hope, because it's kind of pointless now, and it means nothing, because they keep fighting each other every week. So it's like, whatever. Alright, and then we have the main event of the night. We have AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens, and it's supposed to be Sami Zayn, but he got injured during the brawl earlier in the night, and he was replaced by the returning Cesaro. Man, phenomenal back and forth match with everyone. Cesaro did an impressive triple powerbomb. Basically, Kevin Owens and Jericho were trying to do a double superplex off the top rope to AJ Styles, but Cesaro ran under and basically pushed them all down, and it was like a triple powerbomb. It was really, really cool. And then Chris Jericho ended up doing the the running bulldog to do the lion salt, which he never hits the lion salt, I don't think. Everyone puts their knees up, and it's like, what is the point? Stop doing the damn lion salt. So anyway, Kevin Owens puts his knees up, and then AJ Styles does this epic moonsault splash off of the third rope. Of course, Cesaro pulls Chris Jericho out of the ring. Anyway, it ends up where AJ Styles ends up winning, and he becomes #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm very excited for, because I like AJ Styles a lot, and I can't wait to see it. And hopefully, God's grace, please pray that AJ Styles goes over and takes the belt away from Roman Reigns and make Roman Reigns turn heel, and then that can be a little feud right there. Get Jericho out of the equation. He doesn't need to be there. He's already had his moment in the sun. This is AJ Styles' time. These are other people's times, not Chris Jericho. I really hope Jericho is out of the equation after Monday Night Raw, and that's all I gotta say about Monday Night Raw tonight. So, I really appreciate you all for watching, and stay tuned next time for another review. Next week, I'll try to do another Monday Night Raw review. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and that's all I gotta say. Peace out.